life biologist and founder of Jamcrack Initiative, Treya Picking, is warning against, I cannot believe we had to warn against the poaching and consumption of crocodiles in Jamaica. She must be joking. And she's joining us this morning to tell me if she's really, really joking. Because it's not yet April.
She don't have a joking face on her face. No, that's not a joking face.
What are we saying?
I know, it's a bad situation. And before we get into the poaching issue, I just wanted to give a little background on our crocodiles because there are a lot of misconceptions surrounding their behavior.
Tell me.
So the crocodiles we have in Jamaica, they're American crocodiles. They're found in 18 countries, including our island. And you could call them the crocodile of the Americas. So they're found across this region where they naturally occur. And they were here long before people took up residence. And their behavior is typically shy and reclusive, which a lot of people don't realize. And so we have the tagline, "Them rather run than rush you," where they're more likely to flee at the sight of humans than attack. But that being said, they're still wild animals. So we do get negative interactions happening from time to time. But on the grand scheme of things, it's very low. And it usually stems from people being unsafe in and around crocodile habitats, harassing the animals, feeding the animals, which changes their natural fear instinct towards humans. So they start to associate you with food, or just unsafe fishing practices. So you know how the spear fishermen will go out and sometimes they catch the fish and they'll have the bleeding fish on their body. So they become like a live bait, which attracts a lot of marine life.
So you're saying by their very nature, they are reclusive animals?
Yeah, and I'm always in the field with them. I've been working with them for the last 6 years of my career, 7 years of my career, and this is what we typically see.
Before we go into the issue, what made you want to work with him? Crocodiles.
So I love wildlife. I've loved wildlife since I was a kid. And
you used to play with lizard?
Yes, I did. One of my favorite photos from my childhood is me holding a baby lizard.
Yeah, man.
And so when I started working, I started my first job in government at NEPO. I realized how misunderstood crocodiles were and that they needed some attention.
And an advocate.
Yeah, I'm a voice, I guess, for the misunderstood, for a lot of our reptiles, because we do have an ingrained fear towards reptiles in our culture. So
I'm noticing lately that there have been a lot of crocodile sightings. Like there was something on Instagram the other day, and somebody said, he saw him in somebody's yard, and so on. What's happening with our environment that's forcing the crocs to come so much inland?
That's such a good question. So actually, a lot of people are of the perception that crocodiles are taking over, that there's a lot of them, when actually we're encroaching further and further into these wetland habitats, which are shrinking. And so we're finding that there's more human-crocodile interactions. And then social media, at the tip of our fingers, crocodiles are always in the spotlight. So we're always seeing crocodiles on the forefront of our
When you say
viral
encroaching
videos.
into the wetlands, is that the infrastructure? Is that us building?
So yes, it's a mixture. So it may be development, it may just be human activity.
But they're coming to us because don't you see things posted at Elsha with the croc into near the shore?
Have you seen Elsha Shore?
But you know,
Facts. It has
you
come
know,
in.
Yeah.
But you know,
Yes.
Portmore and Hellshire was once a large
Correct.
wetland.
You are correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Point taken, Harris.
So, this question again. You see the back. You see the sign at the back. Viewers, danger. Do not eat. What?
So poaching or illegal hunting, we call it, is like the illegal capture and hunting of protected species. And unfortunately, a lot of our protected wildlife falls victim to this in Jamaica, our crocodiles being one of them. So in the early 2000s, first of all, crocodiles are protected under the Wildlife Protection Act since 1971, where it's illegal to catch, harm, kill, harass, or have in your possession a crocodile, any part of it dead or alive. And in the early 2000s, reports started to surface of people eating crocodiles, particularly for their tail meat. And it was thought to have been introduced through a certain culture to the island. It was seen as a delicacy and then fueled by the myth of it being an aphrodisiac.
Yeah, man, good for your libido.
And this has caused all sorts of problems. So we've been seeing it spread across the island. A lot of local communities, people of all backgrounds, taking part in this illegal activity.
So, like, what they do? What they do? So they capture the crocs. They go for the croc, or this is like, oh, it's a croc. Let's kill and eat.
Yeah,
they
they'll
go
capture
croc hunting,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Steve Irwin. Okay, okay, right.
Except Steve looked out for crocodiles, but
Fact.
Yeah.
But no, people will go out and they'll set traps. And I've actually come across this myself. Back in 2018, when I first started out in the crocodile field or researching crocodiles, I came across a crocodile that was caught in a snare and we managed to release her. But this was in an isolated wetland habitat in the parish of St. Elizabeth. And we're just like, why is this happening? This is insane.
I wanted to ask, are there hot spots for poaching?
So I would say that it's hard to determine the hotspots. We do have some ideas, but I won't really say.
Okay.
But it's mainly along the south coast because that's where our crocodiles are
Mostly
mainly
are.
concentrated, along our larger wetlands. And then we have small isolated populations along our north coast. But crocodiles are kind of, the interactions are few.
I don't want to get too graphic, but we know what we do with chickens, right? So they kill them, skin them, and then sell the meat, or
So either they'll consume it or kill it for themselves or their community, or someone will place an order. And then a fisherman.
crocodiles
or
are us.
someone in
There's a
the-
crocodile butcher shop. I'd like to buy 5 pounds.
I mean, we've heard of
Nothing can go so.
We've heard of like cookouts and stuff, and we get word of this because when I say we, I mean like the authorities like NEPA, the police, and people like me and other entities that are working to protect and manage the population, the crocodile population.
Where did we get this from? Does poaching happen anywhere else in the world?
Yes, so it is a widespread problem, and it's not just crocodiles; it's all wildlife. So we see it here with our sea turtles as well.
With our?
We're
sea
eating
turtles.
turtles.
And it's the same, fueled by the myth of it being an aphrodisiac, which is a myth. It's based on no scientific
Are we eating
evidence.
iguanas too? Oh yeah.
We're not, but our iguanas are very much protected because they're confined to a certain limestone forest in Jamaica, which is heavily monitored. So that kind of deters it.
You have them under lock and key. How big is this problem? So what's the crocodile population? Do we have any idea?
So in terms of the crocodile population, we have ongoing research, and we're finding that there is a decline happening across certain natural habitats. And so we're finding out more and more the more research we do. But
You're attributing that to what's going on with the
yes, so we do
crocodile
find
consumption?
So we
We're
know
eating off the
poaching
crocodiles.
is having a big impact, and we do find that we're seeing less larger animals in comparison to like the smaller animals like the juveniles and hatchlings, because the larger ones are the ones that are mainly targeted for their tail meat.
Oh my gosh. So for those who are watching, what can we do to?
There's a lot we can do as citizens. I think it's to just educate ourselves on our wildlife. I think we need to have a sense of pride and more appreciation for our natural environment in general. We have the set of guidelines called Being Jam Croc Wise, and it's all about keeping a safe distance, respecting the space of crocodiles, not feeding, not harassing, not catching them, contacting NEPA or the police to report any crocodile cases, and then also taking care of your livestock and your pets. Don't let them roam in crocodile habitats because this can create conflict. And then also educating others around you. If you have a lot of information, educate your community. And then also support local conservation efforts. We have a lot of amazing entities across the island doing some really, really good work. Just to name a few, of course, NEPA. NEPA on the forefront of wildlife protection management. And then we have the Holland Bay Crocodile Sanctuary out in St. Thomas. We have CCAM out in Clarendon. We have the Hope Zoo in Kingston. And then I also have my initiative, the Jam Croc Initiative, which we are trying to also spearhead some really
Who would
good
have to
work.
tell me, say, please to stay away from a crocodile and don't interact? Which education?
Much
campaign
less
would have
to
tell
eat
me?
it.
Yeah, just don't eat it. There definitely needs to be more outreach, and that's something we're working on. And also to educate people on the importance of crocodiles. There's a lot. They have very, very important ecological roles.
Like what? Maybe
keeping our waterways
Keeping the
clean,
waterways
keeping our
clean.
mangroves healthy. They're the top of the food chain, so they keep the fish stock in check. And so they really do contribute towards a lot of our, our environment and our livelihoods. And then we see them on our coat of arms. They have a lot of cultural heritage.
so.
And ecotourism. Have you guys heard of the Black River Safari?
Safari.
So a lot of ecotourism rests on crocodiles still existing in Jamaica. So we have to think about everything being interconnected.
Okay.
and not just our bellies. What is wrong? Thank you very much, Treya. Wildlife biologist. I can never dull a day in her work life, I'm sure. And founder of Jam Croc, the Jam Croc Initiative, Treya Picking.
Coming up, we discuss the consumption of alcohol by children. Why are we eating and drinking wrong?